you. We appreciate it. And let's elephant in the room right now, Alex, okay? All right, and I know I'm not putting you in the best of spot because you are professional and I am not. Let's stop with this. It's rivalry week. Anything can happen in a rivalry, all of that stuff. Michigan is going to have their way with Michigan State on Saturday. There, I said it. You don't have to say it, but what are you looking at with this one?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, on paper, Michigan looks better this year. I mean, everyone sees it. I feel like the Michigan State teams honestly kind of quit on Jonathan Smith a little bit, just watching their games, especially that UCLA game in the second half. It just seemed like that team wanted to be over. But the concern I have is Michigan is such a young team that if things get really scrappy in this rivalry, as they tend to do, Michigan could lose their composure a little bit, and this game could end up being a lot closer than it, should be on paper.
Alex, when you look back to last week, I thought the way that Michigan pulled away, that's a good thing. Look, you have to win that game at home, and I know we talked about it. Washington's a pretty good team, but the way they pulled away in that one tells you maybe that this younger team is growing a little bit as we watch in real time.
Yeah, last week was one of the biggest jumps from week to week that I've ever seen a Michigan team take. I mean, if you remember, even on this show last Thursday, I thought Michigan was going to lose. Mm-hmm. I thought Damon Williams was going to be too much to stress on the defense as a dual-threat quarterback. Jonah Coleman was leading the country in rushing touchdowns. And then after that poor showing against USC, I just thought there was a total blueprint to beat Michigan. But Michigan won. They got better in tackling and all the fundamentals, stuff like that. They got better at fitting the run. And Wink Martindale changed up the defense. He wasn't out there trying to run a Buddy Ryan-style bear front and then instead switched to a four-man defensive line, which worked. And especially when teams tried to do the screens and everything, they just had the 5 defensive backs on the field to rally and tackle the ball. So there was great improvement from not just the players, but also the coaching staff last week.
Alex Z kindly joining us here. It is, of course, Wolverine Thursday, brought to you by Skinny Butcher. Make sure that you follow Alex Z on Twitter. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. I always go back to last year. Wink was just not a favorite of a lot of people. And the way that it progressed as the season went on, certainly it turned into a strength. A lot of people questioned if his style would translate to the college thing. What do you see out of Wink as a whole?
Yeah, so Wink is has the capabilities of coming out with a very good game plan, right? The Ohio State game plan was a masterpiece. Alabama game as well. It just seems like sometimes he forgets and also demands too much out of his players on the defensive side of the ball, and just trying to do too many exotic coverages or blitzing corners from too far away. Where in the hashes in college, it's just too much ground to cover. So I feel like when he's actually patient and remembers what a college player is capable of, he's good. But then eventually he tries to mix in some zone blitzes, which just don't have much success for Michigan, and things kind of just start going downhill. So as long as he keeps kind of just a simple game plan and honestly plays to the strengths of his defense, he's pretty good. But once you start seeing him come out with these 5 defensive lineman sets and zone blitzes, things tend to get dicey for the Wolverines.
No, that's a fact. Good morning, Alex. Great to talk to you again. And, man, I got to get your thoughts on this because Michigan, I mean, we expect them to win this weekend. Let's just be real about it. Paul Bunyan coming back home to us. But after that, you're looking at Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, and Ohio State to close it out. I remember you were somebody that didn't really think that Michigan could be a playoff team, but now they sit here 5-2 with a good chance to kind of run the table until Ohio State. We all know that's the wild card game. We don't know really what to expect. Ohio State should win because they're the better team, but we've seen stranger things happen before. Has your opinion changed at all as to whether Michigan can actually make the playoff this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could. I think 10-2 is my preseason prediction. Then I thought that was going to get worse after the USC game. So I definitely think they still could limp into the playoffs. Having Ohio State at home this year is massive because Michigan has honestly not been that good on the road yet under this season and under Sharon Moore, with last year's Ohio State game and the Nebraska game being the 2 exceptions. So having that game at home is such a big deal for this young Wolverine team. But then other than that, before Ohio State, none of these games look too challenging on paper. Maryland did their typical thing where they start off really hot, but then September ends and they kind of just crumble and collapse a little bit. Purdue's got a first-year head coach, and Northwestern just isn't much of a challenge. So once they get past this week, Michigan should have a pretty easy run here until the Ohio State game.
Hey, Alex. Good to see you, my friend. Hey, this game's at 7:30. We all thought this is a noon game. But then we looked at the schedule. We're like, well, What game are they going to bump? Fox probably doesn't want this game as their game. And then I hear next week's game against Purdue is at 7:30. What is with all these night games with this particular team? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think there just aren't many marquee matchups in the Big Ten this year, the way the schedule's kind of shook out. So then when there aren't many big games, these, NBC, they have a little bit of buyer's remorse probably on the Big Ten TV contract. So
you
may
think?
as well just throw may as well throw one of your two biggest brands on at least. Like if none of the games are going to be good, at least get some guaranteed eyeballs on it. So that's what I think is happening. I prefer a noon game every game. I do not like waiting all day around. So if it were up to me, we'd always kick off at noon.
I'm with you. I especially a game like this.
Oh
there's
my God.
just this, there's
like
no
no
reason
point.
to put this.
Jesus.
There's no reason to put this at 7:30.
You know how many drunks are going to be? Well, never mind.
There's just no. All right, Alex. I hate to put you on the spot. How do you see this one playing out? I agree with your assessment as somebody who's literally watched every play of Michigan State football. They're when adversity strikes this team, I've seen it multiple times, and it's been a problem for a while with Jonathan Smith. Great guy. I think he's in way over his head at Michigan State. But how do you see this one playing itself out?
Yeah, ultimately on the defensive side, I see Michigan playing with a pretty light box and just dropping a ton of guys back in coverage. Just letting the D-line kind of tee off. And this Michigan State offense seems to live and die by Aiden Childs, and this O-line does not seem very good. They've given up almost 8 tackles for loss per game. So I think Michigan State, maybe they have a good scripted drive or something, but then struggles to get anything going on offense. So I see like 38-13 Michigan at the end of the day. This Michigan team isn't really great at blowing people out, but I just think they're going to Sherrone Moore team will always come out with a trick play or two to spark a drive. I think the offense is just starting to click, and Bryce is really taking that step forward. So I think Paul stays in Ann Arbor for another year.
No, most definitely. Alex, if that happens, your prediction, 38-13 happens, is that what I call the headstone game for Jonathan Smith? Is that the game that he's not coming back on the team bus?
Yeah, I think so. Especially with AD who didn't hire him or everything. I think it might be the last game for him if he gets embarrassed like that in his home stadium.
You guys have your fun. You want to take any more shots?
Yeah,
No, I do.
right.
Take all your shots.
Alex,
Get your kicks in.
last thing, Alex. I'm going to make you a professor. What grade would you give Bryce Underwood in his freshman year so far?
I mean, considering he's a freshman, I'd still give him an A minus. Obviously, A plus or something we'd be in playoff contention or Heisman. But considering what he's had to deal with an inconsistent O-line at the beginning of the season, then some drops all around, he hasn't really made any bad plays. It's just kind of the people around him who kind of messed up sometimes. He's force-fed the ball a few times, but he's only thrown 2 interceptions through 7 games as a freshman, so you can't really ask for much better than that. But it's a team sport at the end of the day, so yeah, A minus is probably where I'm at.
Great stuff, Alex. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
Thanks to Skinny Butcher. Thanks to Alex Z.
you.
Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter as well. Enjoy the game. I know you will.
Thank you, yeah.
Take care, Alex.
Shout out, Alex.
Thanks,
Alex
Alex.
Z. You know, JB, and you put that wacky graphic up there. You know what? I practice what I preach. You got to take your medicine.
Yeah.
You got to. Do you know what I told Michigan fans in that era, the 7 of 8 era? Shut up. You don't have a word to say. Open your mouth and take your medicine.
Don't move. It's over.
Just seriously.
You
just,
already lost.
Hey.
like just take your medicine.
Pride came way before the fall. There's no question.
It was.
God, I hate
and
that
you know
saying.
what?
I hated Dan Tony when he
Me
said
too.
that.
I hated his
Because
guts.
it literally predicted everything that was
Yeah,
going on.
I hated him.
Like,
Hated him.
I think I told you guys before the 08 game. I told my kid. I said, go to school on Friday and talk your shit.
yeah.
He was 3rd grade. I don't remember. I said, go to school, talk your shit. I said, I want you to tell all those kids that mock you all the time for wearing Spartan gear. I want you to tell them what you're going to do to them at the big house. And he did. And I don't know if you remember, Michigan was up at one point in time in that game, 21-14. And he's at home. I'm going to get killed, and it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Because Michigan was up 21-14. And Michigan State ended up winning 35-21 because Javon Ringer ran for like 9,000 yards that game or whatever.
Was that a shoelace game?
But that was shoelace
Shoelace
didn't come
was
around
after
for a
that.
couple years
Okay.
later. But yeah, that was it was weird because I mean you knew ahead of time what was going to happen. You knew. There wasn't, and it was funny because sometimes, like I remember one of the Shoelaces game was at 2010. There was so much talk, and I was just going,
Yeah.
I knew. And it sucks when it's like this, though. Like, it sucks. Like, I don't know a Spartan fan, not a single Spartan fan that's going, I don't know. We might have a little surprise for you. I don't know one. It reminds me, the only time I've seen that the other way, where I didn't hear it from your fan base, was 2014, where you knew a crucifixion was going to happen that day. Like, you just knew it. And it wasn't fun. There wasn't even the slappiest of the slaps going, I don't know. I don't know. I think Devin Gardner may have found something. You didn't hear any of it. It was just like it was the end, and little did we know how close we were to Brandon being gone and then Hulk being gone and all. There's nothing. There's JB. Do you know anybody? Do you know any Michigan State fans in there?
No, it's definitely not me. Trust me. I'm not looking forward to Saturday.
I do not believe in it. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. I don't believe in any of that crap. I don't. You have one team that's better than the other team. And this is not a great Michigan team.
No, it's not a good team.
I'm going to say it again.
It's not.
And I'll be honest with you guys, I think I had higher expectations for this Michigan team than a lot of you did.
No, that's a fact.
And the reason I did is exactly what you're living right now. This schedule before Ohio State is cake. Shame on you if you lose one of these games in the next month. And I'm serious.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Big facts.
You are blowing a golden opportunity. The Ohio State game is something different. We all know that. But I'm going to say this is not a great Michigan team. I think even a diehard Michigan fan would have to admit that. All right?
Yeah.
Ohio State will be favored by 10 points when they come into Ann Arbor.
But you guys haven't watched Michigan State. Maybe you've tuned in for a couple minutes. It is a disaster. There's no other way to say that. JB, am I off?
No.
It's a disaster.
You can barely watch a half.
Really, it's painful. And they don't like defense. They don't like defense, And defense is kind of important. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, they don't like defense. So if you're a Michigan fan, I was actually talking to one last night that was like, he told me, I'm worried. And I said, you need to stop it. Like, not this year, not this team.
Yeah.
Okay? You're gonna go own East Lansing again.
It's only if Michigan shoots themselves in the foot. Like Alex said, they're a young team. They
can't
still
even
make
envision
stupid
it.
stuff. But that's the only way. That's
And
literally
I
the only
can't
way.
envision a scenario. That's the worst part.
Yeah, I don't think they might make mistakes. It won't be to the degree
Yeah.
of the game will be in question.
So Bryce those 3 pick sixes.
Right.
How's something
Yeah,
like
something crazy.
wacky.
Trouble with the snap.
Yeah. Okay.
Haunting my memories forever with that, bro.
I still can't believe that happened.
I had to
You know,
eat,
people
man.
forget about that game. Michigan
I got
State
so much
Michigan
shit that
State
night.
was better that game.
So much.
They were better last year, too.
Well, they blew that last year.
They were better last year.
They let that one go away. All right, well, I would love to sit here and have fun with it, but hate week's not the same. It just
If Mel Tucker was here, it would be different.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out Big
Hey,
Mel.
look, take away all the crap he did.
Y'all missing.
He had them on the right direction. I think he did. No?
He
No,
was a
didn't?
good motivator.
He
but
had
not.
K9 for a season is what happened.
All right.
He had K9.
I was
for a
wrong.
season.
it was going the other way.
Really? I don't know. That cigar and everything.
It was
My
I
man
don't
was
know.
pimping it out in there, man.
that guy beat Michigan twice.
Yeah.
He did.
He beat Jim Harbaugh twice.
I know.
Flexed on him, too.
That's what I'm
Isn't that,
saying.
like, come on. That 2020 game was so bad. Remember after COVID when they came? Do you remember how it was Halloween? If I'm
I
not
was
mistaken.
done with Harbaugh, man.
What a horrible
2020
game
was
that
such
was.
a horrible year for Harbaugh.
Oh my gosh.
Was that a rain game? Was that the rain game?
I don't remember.
The
if it was
low-scoring
that
rain
day.
game?
I don't remember if it was.
I don't remember
That
that.
was, I just
What-
remember
what was
that
that
he
one?
24-21. Fact check me. Was it 24-21? I think that's what it
I
was.
just know I was starting to dislike Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
No, they 2022. Remember, it was 40. You could have picked a score. It was 49-0. You could have picked the score, right? Wasn't that the one? Was that 49-0? But and then 23 at the beginning of the year. You started to hear the stuff in the spring and summer. There was a lot of. Now you didn't hear.
That.
Yeah, but It was
Yeah.
there. It was there.
He was feeling himself.
Yeah, it was a lot of. I think he read a lot of the press clippings too.
Yeah. Oh, he loved himself some Mel
So
Tucker.
it wasn't
did.
just the
He
other
loved rape
stuff
victims,
and
too.
incidents at the golf course up there and everything. It was more, yeah. He, a lot of times, I was told that Jim Schwartz became the smartest man in the room for the
Yeah.
Lions. That they went from like really loving him and everything to all of a sudden he became the smartest guy.